I've been toying with the idea of sunsets for quite a long time now, and the problem with sunsets is that usually if I paint them, they turn out looking like scrambled egg mixed with tomato ketchup, which is not a scenic view at all. But I've come up with this idea of painting postcards, which I found suggested somewhere when I came across these postcards here, which I've got. This is a pack of postcards. I don't know whether you can still buy them, but I think that Strathmore make them. And they have a nice surface, and on the back they've got the name and address space and everything. And so I thought we would have a go at that, because it's really nice to be able to do something like this, a little painting like this with a couple of different scenes on it that you can give or send to a friend when you go away, or you can take your paints with you and paint a gift for them. This is a seaside view, this is a mountain view, as you can see. This has got sunsets on it, and I think I'll show you how I did that one today. So I'm going to be using my set of primary colours in core, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but these are explosive paints, and I thought that they might work quite well for the effect of the sky. So that's those, and I've got those put out here in a little daisy palette. We've got Pyrrole Red, Alizarin or something similar, Ultramarine, Phthalo. This is an Azo Yellow, I think, and this is, I don't know why that's weird, that's Burnt Sienna. I don't know what that's got to do with primary colours, but anyway, there it is. So those are fine, and I'm still experimenting with those because, as I say, they're a bit explosive and sometimes they do weird things. And at the same time, also, I've got my traditional quinacridone gold. I've got some black or Payne's grey, and Windsor Violet, which I'm going to probably use. This is ordinary yellow. That's, I use one or the other. If one of them gets dirty, then I can dip into the other one. And then the other thing that I need is a palette to mix colours on. You can use the lid of any tin like this. This is carefully designed with different indentations in it, so that you can mix in those spaces, which I think is probably a good idea if you don't mind spoiling your nice tin lid. So I'll probably use that today, since it's here. And then the way I'm going to do these postcards is I'm going to divide the space up into 3 sections with some washi tape, which is quite narrow. Now these are actually fairly small, these postcards, and I expect that the ones that you buy will be slightly bigger, so you'll have a little bit more space to work in. And the first one I did, I put tape all the way around the outside edge, halfway on, so I got a narrow border, and then I used the full width of the tape to divide the thing into 3. The second one I did it slightly differently. I didn't edge it, I just did those divisions in the middle there. I think on reflection those are too wide, so but there is a trick that you can use to get over that problem. So I'm going to do very similar to this, but I'm going to change it halfway through, so bear with me, watch carefully, do not go away, do not scoot forward in the video. Well, you can if you want, of course, but so let's make sure we've got this the right way up. Yes, that's the right way up, so I won't put it quite there. You can put it anywhere. You can put them at an angle like that if you like, and make 2 slopey designs. Up to you, obviously. It's just you need the idea in the first place, and then away you go. Your imagination takes hold, and Bob's your uncle. So let's put that about there, and then I will put another one down here to divide. I'm not going to do that for the minute, and you'll see why shortly. So I've talked about paints, so I'll talk about brushes now. I've got here my Drawwell round nylon brushes. This is a size 2. I don't normally use them that small, but because this is such a small motif, I'm going to possibly need that for the trees, especially. Then I've got number 5, which is what I'll probably use for the bulk of it, and a number 7, which I might use for the sky or the water. I'm not quite sure. It'll depend what comes to hand. There's no point in using huge, great big brushes when you're painting something the size of a postage stamp. You might as well just go down a size or 3. It just makes it more difficult if you've got all that water to deal with. I use a piece of toweling to dab off my brush as I go along. If I've got too much water on it and I don't want to lose the paint, that goes in the washing machine. It doesn't need to be thrown away. And I've also got this is a Zen art rigger, and I'm going to use that for these lines here. Although, having said that, I'm not that impressed, sorry Zen, with this brush, because it tends to go to a flat point rather than a pointy point very quickly. It's okay, but it's not perhaps the best rigger that you could have. So anyway, that's all I've got at the moment. I don't seem to have any other riggers. I've got these sword liners. I have a sword liner somewhere. There we go. This kind of thing, which is a beautiful brush for making rushes and grasses and calligraphic lines. It's a Pro Art one, I think, or if not, it could be, because they do make them. But it's going to be probably too big for this tiny painting, so I'm stuck with the rigger. I have a pencil. I've got an HB here, which is neither hard nor soft, because I don't want anything going to make too many marks, because it's so small. And this is something somebody asked me about the other day, I just want to mention. This is a Pentel Click Eraser, and it's excellent thing because it has much more control over what you're erasing than the usual eraser. It's got a sort of cylinder of gum rubber inside that rubs things out, and as you use it up, you just push it backwards and forwards like that, and that works really well. Yes, Tamsin gave me that the other day. She'd had them stashed away in her kit, and I said, I need to buy one of those, and she said, no you don't, I've got 2, you can have one. So there we go, job done. Right, let's put that out the way, and I think I better sit down, and then I'll stop yakking. Oops. So the first one is going to be at the top here, and what we have in this painting is basically just a horizon line, which I'm in this case going to put just below halfway. So we'll just draw very lightly just a sketch line there to give you an indication of where the horizon line is going to be. And then we've got along here, we're going to afterwards put in a line of trees going all the way along. And then in the front we will have water, and in front of that some reeds. It's very simple. It's a good way to practice a landscape and a sunset. Don't know why I'm having such a problem with that word at the moment. Now, this one that I did before has got blue at the top, and then I put in some yellow, and then I put in some of this Pyrrole red, which you can't see, so I'll move it across. And it's interesting to see what that does when it hits paper. I'm not going to wet it in advance. I'm just going to paint onto the paper. So we'll start with, I'm going to start with some cadmium blue, very weak. Fairly weak, and we'll drop that in at the top. You can leave a few holes if you want as you're doing it. And then I'm going to use yellow. Don't want it too strong, but I'm going to mix it with a little tiny bit of quinacridone gold, which I hope is going to stop it from going too green. So we'll pop that in. And then I'm going to put in some azo red. No, sorry, Pyrrole red. And you can see that kind of explodes. It's quite interesting. I'll bring that down to the horizon, and then I'll come back with some more blue at the top, just dropping it in. And then some more of this orangey red. And you don't really want to play with that any more than that. Just let it do its thing, and then if you're not happy, it's not pungent enough for you, you can come back again and put another layer on. And then we need the water in front, so I'm going to put a warm colour, which is kind of the reflection there. And then probably you could go one of two ways here. You could either go back to your cobalt blue, or you could use violet and cobalt together, which gives perhaps a nicer colour. And then just kind of bring that in a little bit. And then perhaps strengthen the orange effect in the distance, put a little bit of orange on the purple. And then at that point, that gives us a start in the far distance. We have to wait for that to dry now. And so the idea of making the boundary less involves taking that off. And so while we let that dry, we move it up a bit. Now, I haven't done this before, so this might not work, but it might. I should probably wait for the whole thing to dry completely, to be honest. But this paper dries really quickly. So then you just position that there like that, and that will give you very narrow. Don't press it down too hard, just press it down at the bottom and let it sit and pray hard. So then your next one is going to be, we're going to do two more. So we'll need another piece of this. We'll put that here. This idea of doing these tiny paintings could be adapted for bookmarks and other small paintings, of course, greetings cards in general, birthday cards and so on and so forth, of course. Okay, so we'll do this one next. So we need some violet for the sky. I just need to clean that up a little bit because it's gone a bit brownish. And we're going to keep that fairly light. And just pop that in at the top there. And then we want some of this orange that we mixed before, and we'll put that in underneath, blend that in. And then the next layer is going to be violet again. And it's going to be the distant hill line. Oh yes, I should probably have indicated, whoops, where the water line is. And so we come from there and then we go up and just drop in the hills. distance. And then we want some more orange for the water. And for this side, we'll put some purple perhaps. I'm using burnt sienna there for that, and when that's dry I'll paint the trees. So then this one now has to be moved. I just peel that off, pop that down there like that, and we'll do number 3, which is going to be a little square painting. So this one's got a sort of hill in the front, and then golden light coming down here. A little bit of purple there. And then we're going to paint a little bit of blue up here, this cobalt blue again. And let's go for alizarin crimson, perhaps with a touch of orange for the sunset, which is going here, and then some purple mauve violet for the distant hills over there, and then a bluer, slightly bluer for the one in front. And then we have to let that one dry too. So now we'll go back to the one at the top. And you can see we've got a nice line there, just put that back there. And what we want to do now is go for a smaller brush and pick up some purple of some sort. This is Windsor Violet, I think. And just paint in an irregular line for the trees in the distance. And part way across, we'll just change to orange, so quinacridone gold and a bit of red. Just to indicate where the light is hitting those distant trees. And then we're going to want a darker purpley colour on the water here. And I'm going to mix that with some quinacridone to make a more of a brownish purple. Darker. So we have a nice delicate sky. It's a bit more delicate than this one. And I'm not going to touch it because I'll probably end up ruining it if I do. And then we need some purple and probably a bit of black to make this nice and dark for the reeds. And you can just do whatever you want there, really. You might only want to put in a couple. You have to be kind of moderately brave, really. If you don't like risking everything with a brush, you could use a pen, you know, one of those calligraphic pens. What do they call them? Brush liners or something? You could put in a couple of birds in the sky over here. And if you want, you can put in some reeds on this side too. You could do them differently. You could do just straight ones like that with a few bent tops. So that's that one done, pretty much. You could put in a few more strokes in the water if you want. And you could make the line here darker. Okie dokie, so that's that one. And then we're back to this one here, where we've got, the idea is that we'll have a little bit more lilac for the mountains in the background. So they're sort of veiled. And I think I might put a bit more blue in the sky. And a little bit more orange in this one, perhaps. And maybe a tiny bit of exploding red. I've seen a colour like that before, it's just incredible. And a little bit more blue. And then we need our smaller brush. I don't know, maybe I might even want to use the very smallest, and we want some quinacridone gold mixed with blue, I think, or violet, because we want a sort of rusty brown for these trees. And it's going to have to be fairly thick because it's so small, so we're just I've got phthalo blue mixed with quinacridone for this one. Make it a bit darker. And then go back to the quinacridone I want to make that a bit taller, but it's not quite dry. And then we just want to put some trees along the far distant edge of the lake like that. And then we're going to have to come in with some much darker purple to give the trees some shape. And then swap to a slightly bigger brush, number 3, and can drop in some orangey brown here, a little bit more, a few more strokes like that. Take that over here too, and maybe just a tiny bit of greenish over here to balance. Okay, so that's that one. And then final one here, we're going to do some more of those gosh darn trees. But we need to just improve the distant mountains. And the foreground needs to be a bit more lilac-y. And then we need a little bit more gold in the sky here. And then a bit more blue up here. Okay, and then the trees. We start with the tall one over here, and it's going to go down to there. That cockerel's having fun out there, not sure what he's going on about. And then we're heading into a sort of more purpley area over here. The trees down here are going to be more mauve. This kind of design really lends itself very well to all sorts of subjects, like obviously flowers and little outdoor iconic things like lamps on walls and window boxes and stuff like that. You can do a nice kind of selection of different things. So there we are, there's our little trees. And we'll just swap to a slightly bigger brush, just slightly. And a little bit of lilac. Mauve, not too dark. For here, just put some more strokes in there. So there we are, okay, that'll do. We just need to remove our masking tape. So there we are, 3 little landscapes. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give us a like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye everybody, bye-bye. Liam, come on. Sorry, Zen.